well, it's been my life, you know, it's been great for me, you know. Best thing I ever done, like, you know. I was, when I was young, I was quite good at football as well, like, you know, but this is how I started boxing again, when I told you earlier on about the blokes asked me did I want a game of football in the park, and he had a boxing club as well, like, you know. So I started boxing, but I played a lot of football over Hackney Marshes, but you would find everybody from the East End in the 50s had to run out of Hackney Marshes. And I mean that, honest. Hundreds and hundreds of blokes at all. If you know anybody that age or their age, they all had to run out. Everybody after the war, like, it was good, you know. No, I've got a younger brother over there. He phones me up now and again, like, you know. That's about all. I mean, mother and father had died quite a long while ago, and well, he's the only one left, you know. My younger brother, like, you know. Oh, I got another brother. He was up North London. Well, he's a bit of a, well, if you close your eyes, and he's a Frank Sinatra singer, you know. I'm sure he's a silversmith. And he's had the FA Cup in his hand more than any footballer. Which is the truth. And even his mates from in his pub has wrote to the FAA or whatever, telling about this, my brother Joe, what he does. He repairs the cup. I'm sure them blokes kick it about a bit, you know, when they're drinking a couple of bottles of champagne down them. They've always injured the cup. It goes back to Joe, where the firm he worked for, and he knocked all the bumps over and repolished it. Well, however, his mates wrote to the FA about why doesn't this man have a couple of tickets for the cup final, like, you know. But they never answered it, you know. Well, my first manager was Danny Sewell from Bethnal Green. He was an ex-heavyweight, but he also had a nightclub and a club, drinking club in the West End. So he didn't have a terrible lot of time for me. I think I had about 2 fights with him, and well, it wasn't kind of gone. He was a busy man. He was a businessman, you know, not into the boxing. So he knew Al Phillips, and they had a little chat, and I went with Al Phillips. He had a gym in Essex Road in Islington. He was an ex-featherweight. Very nice chap anyway, lovely man. He looked after me well. But, well, I was with him for quite a few years, like, you know. Well, he was sorry to say, passed away and all, like. Well, getting back to Al Phillips, I was more of a boxer. Well, Al Phillips kind of made me change me a bit, like. He was a bit of a fighter, Al, like, you know, in his time, rather than a boxer. If you ask Dennis Hinson, he'd tell you the same. He had the same trouble with him. He made Dennis into, that's another one of our pals up there, ex-boxers. He was with Al Phillips the same as me, you know, Dennis Hinson. His brother Ron, he just passed away, but he boxed for the lightweight British title, Ron did, but Al was inclined to make a fighter out of you rather than a boxer, you know. And that's how he was, you know. Well, when I look back at it, I didn't know he was doing it. I know it sounds terribly silly, but when I was an amateur, I'd done more bloody boxing than I did fighting, you know. But then I look back at some of me pro fights, I think I was more of a bit of a tearaway than what I used to be, you know. I kind of, well, I didn't know what was happening to me. Looking back at it now, I can see it, but at the time, it wasn't getting to me like what I was doing, you know. I should have done, but there you go. Oh, I had another bloke, another ex-boxer. He was in my corner as a second. Don't ask me why. I think if that was Seymour Hall. I don't know why I asked him what round is this. He says, this is the 5th round, Billy. I said, it ain't. This is the 6th round. This. Well, he had a good stable, Al Phillips, at the time. He had Arthur Howard and Ron and Dennis Hinson, you know. Kimpo and Mafio. Blokes that done very well in the pro game, you know. Oh, there you go. Jimmy Newman boxed he boxed for the welterweight title. Well, Jimmy Newman, in my time, I thought he was the cat's whiskers, like, you know. And, I went to see that fight. That was a Stratton. Malay beat him over. I'm sure it was 15 rounds them days, like, you know. Well, getting back to the old days, I would say, even in the 50s, even in London, well, people was a lot happier, you know. They was. They was just great when I come here. It's not like it is now, like, you know. But getting back to Dublin, like, I couldn't even go into the bloody sports, in my school sports, with no money to buy bloody plimsolls. You know, bad, you know. This is why as I got a bit older I had to get out of there, like, you know. Of course, look at the gear they got. Oh, I used to spar with my brother. Put a towel over my hands. No boxing gloves. Jeez, there's loads of boxing gloves. Everyone's got. Kids are now up in our gym. We got loads of equipment in Dagenham. Well, you see, well, mums and dad or grandfathers buy their kids that's boxing. They've all got their own gear, like, you know, their own boxing gloves, headgear, gum shields. I never had a headgear on in my time. Can't even count my wages, I think. That's what it does to you. No, everybody was the same them days, wasn't they? Nobody had nothing in Dublin, you know. Nobody had nothing. You could leave your bloody door open all day. You wouldn't get a burglar or anything, would you? You know. Obviously, it was the same here in London, like them days, like, you know. Or it must have been the same in Liverpool, wasn't it? Like, you know. People used to leave the door or bloody key hanging down the letterbox, wasn't it? That's it. You've hit the nail on the head, son. There was more community then, like, you know. People had more time. There always, well, in my time or your time, your mum would stand outside the door chatting to a few neighbours for a bloody hour or two, wouldn't they? You know. And you don't see that now, you know. You don't, you know. Just say hello, Mr. So-and-so, and they go their own bloody way, don't they? Like, you know. Oh yes, that's great. You know, it's well, you get more mates, don't you? You know, with bloody boxing. Well, I have kids even just Wednesday night. I'm in there with kids, and one give his mate a bit of a heavy dig, and he stopped boxing. He says, "Are you all right?" Like, you know. And I said, "You got to teach each other, you know, rather than." You understand what I mean when I say teach each other, like, you know. But whatever. I have a good laugh up there with them. Some of the things I try to teach them. When they do something wrong, I kick them up the bum. In fact, I got a local over the road, and I've often been standing there every Saturday, and I got a kick up the bum. I look around, it's one of these young lads, he's got bigger now, ain't he? And he say, he used to kick me up the bum, Billy, a few years ago. Well, which is good, like, you know, they've grown up now. I think, who the bloody hell are you, like? Some of them kids grow up quick, like, you know. Where, like, they was 14, like, 5 or 6 years ago. Now they're young men, they're out having a drink. And they see little Billy and they kick me up the bum.